There's nobody else on right now, so
Okay. That's excellent.
like
That's
literally, there's nobody else. Like by
that's
this time,
excellent.
I have at least look. By this time, I have at least 2 people. Like right now, I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Where I gotta ask, where is Swarthmore located? I'm in Atlanta, so I have no idea.
Oh, you're my hometown. You're my hometown.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm from Decatur, Georgia. Grew up right across the street from Agnes Scott College.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so I know Atlanta well. I was just there, this past winter, seeing family and stuff. So yeah, so we're located about 11 miles southwest of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So we're actually for a small liberal arts college, we're actually really uniquely located because most liberal arts colleges are, lots of them, I shouldn't say most, but lots of them are in very rural areas or areas kind of very much separated from urban areas, which is totally fine. But I think we're uniquely located because we're 11 miles from Philadelphia. And we actually have this train station right at the foot of our campus, takes students into Philadelphia in about 25 minutes. So it's a really unique, we have a kind of traditional small liberal arts campus, but 25 minutes away, you hop on that train, you're in the sixth largest city now in the country. So for me, coming from Atlanta, Georgia, that was perfect, right? That was perfect for me because I had this small campus, but could hop into the city when I wanted to feel like I was in the city again,
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, Franklin and Marshall's not that far from you either, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So they're just north of us by a little bit. They're a great place. There's I think Philadelphia and maybe including the surrounding area have one of the highest per capita rates of colleges in the country. I think only second to maybe New York City or Boston. I think it's Boston. So with places like Franklin and Marshall and Temple University and us here at Swarthmore, our 2 consortium colleges, Haverford, Bryn Mawr, Rosemount, University of Pennsylvania. I mean, there's just so many in this area. It's pretty remarkable area of the country.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, like, I thought New York was good. New York, you can go to New York and go to like 30 different colleges in the city by itself.
Yeah. New York is wild. Yeah.
So you're like, man, I didn't leave the city and I already hit like 10, 15 colleges.
Exactly. Yeah. New York is remarkable. It was similar. I think driving through, parts of Philadelphia, like, oh my God, I guess past even in my neighborhood alone, where I live in West Philadelphia, there's 4 different colleges, like in my neighborhood. So it's.
What do you got? UPenn,
Drexel, University of Sciences, and Philadelphia University.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty remarkable in that way.
Yeah, we'd be in trouble if we didn't understand Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Considering that our headquarters is downtown on Broad Street.
Yeah.
Right across the street from Temple.
It's right there, right now.
It's on Broad Street.
It's on Broad Street, right there. Yeah.
It's like literally the Temple campus is right across the street from the building.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh my God, that's wild. I was at Temple a minute ago, actually.
Okay, so we're gonna have some fun. What we'll do is we'll get started in about 30 seconds.
Excellent.
There's nobody else on the call right now, but what we always do is we do record them, and as people join in, they'll catch up.
Excellent.
So. I guess it's showtime, brother. I'll see you.
Yep, let me make sure I got my stuff here. See if you hit my record button again. You know how you do.
It says it's recording, so we're going to have to edit this.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me why.
All right. Yeah, so, you're right. Yep.
Good thing we're not talking about anything bad. All right. So we're going to get started. We welcome you to the Diamonds in the Rough webinar series, and this evening we will be presenting the virtual college tour. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation and the Kappa Foundation. This evening we have Swarthmore College and Mr. Windsor Jordan, who will be guiding us through this small liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. Mr. Jordan, welcome to the call.
Excellent. It is great to be talking to you all and to all the Kappa Foundation folks. I'm here to talk about Swarthmore College. I'm very excited to be here. First, I want to start talking about myself first and a little bit about my journey.
And if you can just share your screen, it'd be great.
Oh, did not?
I took it back, so yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good deal. One second here. All right, excellent. So, but I do want to start talking kind of about my own journey first, and a little about what an admissions officer does, and then we'll talk about Swarthmore specifically. So I'm a senior assistant dean of admissions at Swarthmore College. I'm also a director of multicultural recruitment. We'll talk about what that means. I'm born in Decatur, Georgia, and so Swarthmore is located in Pennsylvania, but I was born down in Decatur, Georgia. I also graduated from Swarthmore back in 2007 with degrees in sociology and a minor in Black Studies, and also got my master's degree at Lehigh University, not too far from Swarthmore, a master's in American Studies. So one of the things I always like to tell students is that, in some ways, college is the beginning of your journey, and you don't know where you're going to end up. But college gives you those other options and more options on your plate than you would certainly if you didn't have the opportunity to go to college. That's me right. That's me right there. This is my admissions team. These are some of the folks that go off into the country talking about Swarthmore, but also reading applications, getting to know students through their applications, and getting to know students while they're traveling to high schools all over the country and all over the world. So what does a college admissions officer do? Really, the first part of our job is getting to know your high school, your school, and your community as best we can, right? And that means we're going to visit your school. Admissions officers all over the country travel in the fall to go visit high schools, visit community-based organizations, go to churches, go to community centers to talk about their colleges and talk about the college admissions process. So we may see you at your school visiting. So that's when we get to know your school. We also get to understand your high school profile. A lot of students, I find, don't know about a high school profile. All high school, just about every high school in the country has a high school profile. And this is a document that we receive from high schools from which a student comes from if they're applying to the college, and talks about the school community, the average SAT or ACT score of the school, how many students attend the school, and really what academic and extracurricular opportunities are at the school. If your school offers advanced placement courses or international baccalaureate courses, or what extracurriculars are there, it's all going to be in that high school profile, so we get to understand that profile. We're also going to spend some time, particularly when we visit high schools, talking to your guidance counselor, getting to know the school through the eyes of the guidance counselor, and what are things that we should be talking and thinking about if a student from that school applies to the college, but also getting a sense of sharing a sense of what things are happening at Swarthmore that we want to share with the guidance counselor as well. So we try to really inform the guidance counselors that are at high schools. And we also spend lots of time answering questions on those visits about Swarthmore. The other thing we do, which I think is most students think about admissions officers doing, is reading applications. Spending time for a few months looking through your applications. And at Swarthmore, read applications holistically. And what that really means is that every single part of your application is important to us, right? I think sometimes students will send an application to a college and it kind of goes into the void. They don't know what happens to it. At Swarthmore, it means reading applications holistically means that every single part of your application is important to us. So we're certainly going to look at ACT scores or SAT scores, GPAs, class ranks, what courses you've taken over high school. Those things are really important. But just as important at Swarthmore is that we're looking at your extracurricular activities, what you're doing in and out of school. Are you taking care of a sick grandparent after school? Are you taking care of a little brother or a younger sister after school? what are the other impacts in your life that are going to impact on your academic performance. And so we're looking at you holistically. You're not just one thing in your application, you're multiple things in that application, and every single piece of that application is important to us. So we're going to spend time reading your application. The other part of admissions officer's job, particularly here at Swarthmore, is seeking out the most diverse class possible. And that means we're looking for students from all different backgrounds, different interests. We need folks who want to play on our baseball team. We need folks who want to be a part of our chemistry program, our physics program, who want to be a part of the English program here at Swarthmore, who want to be part of our engineering program. We need folks who are going to come to the college and add in lots of different ways. And so diversity is not just race and class, but it's also your interest, your background, the ideas you're bringing to the college as well. So we do that too. And we also serve as conduits for students who are asking questions about things beyond admission and admissions related information. You may also want to know about financial aid. You may also want to talk to somebody who can help you understand how your transcript's going to connect with the college in terms of credits. So the registrar's office. You also might need student services. And so we're going to be a one-stop shop, a first stop shop for all those different opportunities and getting your questions answered in other parts of the application process to college. So just a little bit about Swarthmore. We're a small liberal arts college, and we'll talk about what that means. Which small means we're a campus of 1,600 students, so we are small. So obviously, colleges range in size. Some colleges are really big, 40,000, 60,000 students. We're on the much lower end at only 1,600 students. We have over 40 different majors. Liberal arts means that students have access to all types of different disciplines and majors, not just the natural sciences, not just the humanities, not just the social sciences, but a range of different majors from English to physics to classics, Japanese studies and languages. And so we offer lots of different majors here at the college. About our student body, about 48% of our students on campus are domestic students of color, meaning the students that are from the US and they are of color. About 13% of our students are international students coming from 70 different countries around the world, right? So you're coming to a diverse place at Swarthmore with students coming from different perspectives, different walks of life from all over the country and certainly all over the world. We're one of the only liberal arts colleges in the entire country that has a fully accredited engineering program. This is really unique. There's only about 4 or 5 liberal arts colleges in the country that have an accredited engineering program, which means we offer a bachelor's in science as well as a bachelor's in arts. We also have this really unique tri-college consortium program. We're connecting with 2 other nearby liberal arts colleges, Bryn Mawr and Harvard colleges. So as a Swarthmore student, you can take courses at Bryn Mawr or at Harvard College if you choose to do so. They're really, really close by. You can hop on shuttles to travel to those other campuses to kind of expand yourself academically. Most students use the Tri-College Consortium socially. Parties, performances, events, speakers, lectures. You're going to find yourself as a Swarthmore student hopping onto those other campuses to enjoy events, speakers, lectures, parties, performances over there as well. And one thing I'd like to highlight, we say it in jest, but it's true. We have one of the strongest academic programs in the country and certainly maybe in the world here at Swarthmore College. That means you have access to world-renowned professors as mentors to help you guide you through your academic experience at Swarthmore, to help prepare you for whatever you may want to do in the work, whether it's going into the workforce, whether it's going into a master's or PhD higher level degree program. We're going to prep you for that here at Swarthmore. So you're getting at Swarthmore one of the best educations on the planet, I would like to say. A couple of things I always want to highlight about Swarthmore. The first thing is that our first semester for all first-year students is pass-fail. And what that means is, and most students around the country get grades. This is really unique. What that means is that students don't receive any grades at the end of their first semester as first-year students here at Swarthmore. And that allows students to really explore the curriculum. When you're not preoccupied with grades in that first semester, it gives you a chance to really spend time thinking through, what do I actually want to do in college? How do I actually want to spend my time academically? Research shows that students change their mind not once, not twice, not 3 times, but more than 3 times about what their major is going to be. And so one of the hallmarks of the liberal arts education is giving you a chance to explore all your different options academically. The pass-fail semester allows you to do that because you're not going to get any grades that first semester. So maybe you don't know what sociology is like I did when I first came to Swarthmore. I had no idea what sociology was when I came on campus. It's pass-fail that first semester, so I took a sociology course and fell in love with it and really, really enjoyed my time there in that coursework and decided it was going to be my major. I also took a computer science course my first semester at Swarthmore College, pass-fail, and found out computer science was not for me, right? But it's all about giving students an opportunity to kind of explore the curriculum and really find out what their interests are. Other thing we want to raise up to is that Philadelphia is your backyard. I think we're uniquely located amongst liberal arts colleges because we're only 25-minute train ride from the foot of our campus to Center City, Philadelphia, the 6th largest city in the country. And so from our campus, you have access to all the great food, culture, art, music, this year world championship football teams that Philadelphia has to offer. And so it gives students an opportunity to really branch out into Philadelphia to kind of explore that city and what it has to offer. Internships, research opportunities, all those things are there in Philadelphia at your fingertips. And we're affordable. And this is really unique. So a lot of times I think when students see a private institution like Swarthmore, they might say, oh man, I can't afford that. One of the things I always like to talk about a lot, and we'll talk about it more in this presentation, is that particularly for students that are low income, Swarthmore is affordable because we offer 100% need-based aid, and we'll talk about what that means. A couple things I wanted to highlight too, particularly for the Kappa Foundation audience, is that we have one of the highest graduation rates of African American students in the country at 91%. This puts us like at 3rd or 4th on that list. We also have the 3rd highest African American first-year student enrollment amongst our peer schools, other small liberal arts colleges, of which there are hundreds all over the country. We have the 3rd highest number of first enrollment students as of fall 2017. And so when I say we're recruiting a diverse class, looking for a diverse class, that means again students from all over the country, all over the world. I think these numbers reflect that we bring that diverse class to campus, make sure you graduate and make sure you graduate on time. So I want to dive deeply into talking about kind of what is a small liberal arts college? What does that really mean? And there's a couple things I always like to highlight about this and what liberal arts means. A lot of people are confused kind of what that looks like and what that really means for students. Whoops, guys, jumped there a little bit. So the first thing it means ACT is multiple different disciplines and departments, right? You're getting a chance not just to focus on engineering, not just to focus on English or classics or physics or chemistry, getting access to all these different disciplines from one college, right? So you're applying to Swarthmore College, not to the engineering college at Swarthmore, right? Or not to the business college at Swarthmore. Applying to Swarthmore and picking between the 3 different majors that we have here on campus. It also means we're cross-discipline. Liberal arts means you can work between those different majors, right? A number of our students will double major, have majors in minors, have a major in 2 minors. So you're not just being able to pick one path here at Swarthmore. You can pick multiple different paths here at Swarthmore really easily because we allow for that flexibility. Here at Swarthmore, students don't pick their majors till the end of their sophomore years. So some school students are applying to, we're going to ask you to pick your major before you get there, or pick your major in your first year. We say no, hold off, wait till the end of your sophomore year, have time to explore all your different options academically to figure out kind of what you actually really want to do on college before you pick that major. And so that may mean that students are picking up a double major or a major and a minor, or maybe even deciding to create your own major. A student graduated a couple of years ago, decided to design their own major in international video game studies. So it's a very, very flexible curriculum to allow you to do lots of different things. Also at a small liberal arts college, you have access to world-class professors and mentors. Because we're small, it means you're not competing with resources at the institution, whether it's professor time or funds to fund your research or opportunities. And so as a Swarthmore student, you're going to find that many students have mentors throughout their time on the campus. I was mentored by professors in sociology and English, but Donnie who makes the cheesesteaks in dining hall, he was also my mentor too, right? Miss Val behind the cash register at the snack bar, she was also my mentor, right? So you're going to find that at a small liberal arts college, because of our size. You're going to find great mentors in the classroom, but you're going to find a community of folks who want to support you and make sure you're successful at the college as well. And the last thing I always want to raise up too is this idea of because we're small, we also have funds to support your work, whether it's internships, research opportunities, career service opportunities. All these things are going to be able to come to you because we're a small campus, and professors can raise you up for opportunities and bring opportunities to you to help support the things that you want to do while you're on campus, whether it's funding your research project, whether it's funding your study abroad project, whether it's an internship you're looking to get. You're going to find mentors that can help you get those things, and then more importantly, as importantly, really, funds support that work as well. And so I want to highlight community here. This is an image from our first collection. This is how students begin their time at Swarthmore. The first year class comes together, about 400 students in our first year class, and they'll sit together in our outdoor arboretum and do a candle lighting ceremony. One of the things that's really important to know about Swarthmore is that we have a Quaker heritage, and Quakers were folks in the Pennsylvania area and all over the country, really, that were thinking about how do we build community? How do we think across difference and think about all the different people that are in our community and how we raise up their voices? And so this candle lighting ceremony that's a part of first collection is a highlight of that. One flame begins this candle lighting ceremony, and students in that first year class pass around that flame, lighting each other's candles and kind of connecting with each other and getting a sense of unity in that first year class, and also highlighting of the kind of oneness amongst the community here on the college campus. This is an image of one of our chemistry labs. One of the things I think is a misconception about liberal arts colleges is that we don't have opportunities for research for students, and that's just not the case. About 2/3 of our students on our campus will be doing research while they're here with us, and we gave away about $800,000 this past year towards student opportunities for research. And so students have an opportunity to work with professors and mentors to find those research opportunities as early as their freshman year. You don't have to wait to be a graduate student. You don't have to wait to be a senior at your college. You can do that work right as you walk in the door at Swarthmore, which will prep you for when you're at medical school or going to PhD programs or master's programs or law school after you finish up here at Swarthmore. And that's really an important piece, having access to those mentors and access to peers to help you do that work as well. This is an image of Rebecca Zhu, who's a class of 15 graduate of Swarthmore. This is her research project. She's working on research project with bees. She came up with this idea during her time at Swarthmore and brought it to the biology department, and they decided to fund her research. And again, the size of our college allows us to do this. Students can literally walk into a professor's door, office hours, into their office and say, hey, professor, I want to do a research project on bees. And so Swarthmore was able to fund that project. And we have 2 beehives on campus that Rebecca is able to do research with, and students after her are going to be able to continue to do that research. I mean, it's all funded by the college and funded because Rebecca asked for it. And that's a really important thing and special thing about being at a liberal arts college. I also wanted to drill down a little bit about our engineering program at Swarthmore too. And engineering is really unique at Swarthmore. We're one of the only liberal arts colleges in the entire country with a fully accredited engineering program. And so students have special access to this program that is not available at most other small liberal arts colleges. You choose your engineering major just like any other program at the end of your sophomore year. And there's a couple unique things about engineering at Swarthmore. The first thing is that it's cross-disciplinary, that you're able to double major even as an engineer. This is really, really unique. About 40% of our engineers choose to double major. That's something that's unheard of at engineering colleges around the country. So it gives you that flexibility you love engineering, but you also want to dive into chemistry or computer science or some other field. You can still do that. The other really unique thing about engineering is that we're not just learning one field of engineering, we're learning multiple fields in engineering. Mechanical, civil, computer, electrical, and it's all under one roof, and you're going to dive into each of those fields as an engineer at Swarthmore. So you're not just learning one field at Swarthmore, you're learning multiple different fields in engineering at the college. That's really unique. Most engineering schools around the country do not work that way. You come in as a mechanical engineer your first year, and you do only mechanical engineering for all 4 years. Here at Swarthmore, we're going to say, nope, you're going to do mechanical, civil, computer, and electrical engineering. Give a sense of how all those different fields work inside of engineering. It's also a really hands-on program. The picture here is an image of some of our engineers who built a eco drive car. This is an electrical vehicle. There's a couple of them on campus that students have built themselves and raced in competitions around the country. This is one of them too. This is all student built. So it's a very hands-on program where students are working with the equipment in the lab, learning in a very hands-on way. And then again, not waiting till they're in graduate school, not waiting till they're seniors, but doing that work really early on in their engineering degree if they choose to do so. And engineers also go abroad. This is something that's hard, I think, is not always the case for engineers. Engineers can study abroad at the University of Poland, but also other institutions around the world as well. And that's a really important tool that students get to use to kind of see how engineering is happening in other institutions around the country. So engineering at Swarthmore is kind of engineering in the liberal arts context, giving you a chance to think through engineering problems, but bringing other disciplines and ideas to bear on that as well. I want to highlight some other kind of courses we have here at Swarthmore that I think are pretty unique. This is an image of Keith Reeves. Professor Keith Reeves teaches in the political science department. He's a professor that does work on incarceration, obviously having a national conversation about the merits or lack thereof of the issues around incarceration in the country. And Keith Reeves teaches what he calls a inside out course that is half inmates in the correctional facility here in the Philadelphia area and half Swarthmore students. And this is an image of those students in the prison facility, learning with the inmates together. And this is a really unique course that Keith Reeves has created. So we say at Swarthmore, if you want to really learn about the criminal justice system, want to really learn about how that system impacts folks inside and outside that system, the way to do it is through courses like Keith Reeves, which places you in the correctional facility with inmates, learning together, reading the same books, doing the same tests, working on the same projects with the professor to really understand what's going on in those people's lives. We think that's a really important tool. The other thing I want to raise up to is the arts at Swarthmore. From opportunities to sing in our orchestras, our Swarthmore singers, our Garnet singers group, to a cappella groups, to opportunities for painting, to our Africana hip hop dance group Within Motion, to Visibility. This is a publication published by our Intercultural Center. These are all ways students are using arts at Swarthmore, whether it's visual, whether it's written, whether it's dance or music or singing, to explore. And so the arts play a large role here at Swarthmore, both kind of in the formal sense in terms of theater department, but also in student groups as well. And so having an opportunity to kind of explore yourself in that way is a really important piece of the campus community as well. Third piece I wanted to raise up too is Swarthmore's commitment to college access and support. And this is really important. So I always encourage students to be thinking about what colleges they're going to is how is this college going to support me when I get there? And before I get there, how are they opening up the college process to others who maybe are sometimes on the margins of that process? And so there's a couple different ways we do this at Swarthmore. One of the main ways to do this is through our Discover Swarthmore program. This is a all expenses paid trip to Swarthmore for high school seniors. The application is open right now for high school students. You can go to if you go to our webpage, swarthmore.edu, you'll see a link. You'll search for Discover Swarthmore. Also see a link there to apply. The program is open to any high school senior, but is really geared towards students of color, low-income students, undocumented and DACA students, and other students who may not be able to visit the college on their own. And we'll talk more about this, but lots of different colleges around the country offer free trips to their campus in the fall of your senior year. We're also a cash-free campus. This is pretty unique as well. What this means is that once students come to campus, their activities fee, as a part of your tuition, covers everything you may or may not do during your time here at Swarthmore. So you're not paying any extra money for the movie playing at the cinema on the weekends. You're not paying any extra money for the party you want to go to in the Black Cultural Center. You're not paying any extra money to see your friend perform in the orchestra. You're not paying any extra money, any dorm money for the speaker or the lecture you want to go to on campus. That's really important. So you're not worried about how much money you have in your pocket on our campus. You show your ID, your Swarthmore ID, you can walk into to any event on campus. And we're cash free here at Swarthmore. We're also cash free at our consortium schools at Bryn Mawr and Harvard as well, which is why students are able to go over to Bryn Mawr and Harvard to explore academically and socially over there, because you're not paying extra money for that experience. And we're also don't pay for printing here at Swarthmore. We also don't pay for laundry here at Swarthmore. Those things sound like things that aren't that important, but I promise you, when you get to college, printing things and laundry are going to be really important to you, and those things are free here at Swarthmore. A couple of specific programs we have too that support different populations here at Swarthmore. Swarthmore is a Mellon Mays undergraduate fellowship school, and that means I have a program here on campus sponsored by the Mellon Mays Foundation to support students of color that want to go into PhD or other programs after they leave Swarthmore. And so Mellon Mays students are selected throughout the year. They receive mentors, funds for research they're doing over the summertime, to support their work academically, and also support in prepping them for going on to graduate school. So I was a Mellon Mays undergraduate fellow myself, and so I got support in prepping for the GRE, the test you take before you go on to graduate school. I got support in mentorship through research and helping me find schools to apply to for my graduate degree. And the Mellon Mays program is a strong cohort of folks that help students find those opportunities for postgraduate work. Richard Rubin Scholars Program is also a mentorship program, again, geared to students of color, first generation students, and really connecting. What it does is connect current students to faculty and staff to be mentors through their time at Swarthmore. Again, supporting them while they're here, but also thinking about what's post Swarthmore life look like as well. And they also receive funds and do cohort projects together as well. We also have a number of cultural centers on our campus. We have a Black Cultural Center, which is the home of our African American, African, and Caribbean student groups on campus. We have an Intercultural Center on our campus. This houses our international student group, our LGBTQ student group, our women's resource, our women's group on campus. We have a women of color group on campus called Women of Color Kick Ass. So there's lots of different groups on campus that are housed inside the Intercultural Center that are all thinking through issues of diversity and inclusion. Same is true for the Interfaith Center, thinking through issues of diversity amongst different faith groups on campus, whether it be our Muslim Student Fellowship, our Christian Fellowship, our Jewish Student Association, other religious-oriented associations. And so all these centers play a role in helping students think through issue of diversity and inclusion, but I think you're going to find the entire campus is engaged in thinking through what these things might mean for a student's college experience on campus. And so these centers are important hubs for students walking in those spaces, finding students who share their experiences. Right, when I walked into the Black Cultural Center here at Swarthmore, I found folks who shared my experience as an African American on the college campuses in the world. But I also found folks who shared my experience differently, right? And so that's really important too, that you're walking into diverse cultural centers to find shared experience, but also to learn new things about what it means to be Black in America, what it means to be Latina in America, and so forth. So your student affinity groups are an important piece. That work doesn't end when you graduate from Swarthmore. The Swarthmore Black Alumni Network, founded in 2014, has been a growing network of Black alumni coming together to do great work post Swarthmore College, whether it's supporting mentorships and internship opportunities through funding projects for current Swarthmore students, or having alumni-oriented events in different cities around the country. There's tons of opportunity to kind of engage with alumni groups, alumni and supporting students even after you leave Swarthmore too. So you're entering another community after you graduate as well. I also wanted to highlight affordability. I talked about this earlier, but I want to put a pin in this. And so I always say to students, no matter what if you take one thing away from this presentation, this is the most important thing. So a couple things you want to know about financial aid at Swarthmore. The first thing folks want to know, and the term I want really folks to get a good understanding is need blind admission. At Swarthmore, we're need blind admission. And what that means is when I read your application as an admissions officer, I don't see any financial aid information at all. This is really important. All schools aren't need blind. But what that means is that when I'm making a decision about your application, I'm making that decision about the application based on the merit of that application alone, whether I think you're going to be a good fit for a good match for Swarthmore, regardless of how much money you have or don't have to pay for a Swarthmore education, right? So need blind admissions means I don't see any financial aid information at all. So I'm making a decision about each application based on the merit of the application alone, regardless of how much money you have to pay or not pay for a Swarthmore education. The other really important piece about financial aid is that we guarantee to meet 100% of your demonstrated need. And this is really important too. So need blind admissions means we don't look at any financial aid information. 100% demonstrated need met means we're going to find out what your need is, how much money you need to make it possible for you to attend the college, and then we're going to give you that money. And Swarthmore gives you that money in scholarships and grants. That's what a loan-free financial aid package is. So scholarships and grants is money you don't have to pay back to the college. And loan, of course, is money you have to pay back to the college. So the Swarthmore's financial aid packages are loan-free. It's all scholarships and grants. So that's free money, right? Capital F, capital R-E-E, hashtag free money we're giving you to come to college, right? And so this is what makes Swarthmore affordable for many students because we're able to meet 100% demonstrated need, and we're doing it loan-free. I wanted to give folks an example of what that kind of looks like. This is an example for John. John's a hypothetical student, but based off of a real Swarthmore financial aid applicant and what that might look like. You can see a couple different bars here. I'm going to tell you what they mean. The first bar there is John's contribution. So let's say John's parents here earn about $37,000 a year. And you'll see from the graph here, he gets a Pell Grant. Lots of students who apply for financial aid will get a federal Pell Grant of just about $4,900. So the parents make about $37,000. Let's say, and the Pell Grant is about $49,000 they're going to get. That comes with their financial aid package. Grant is money you don't have to pay back again. You can see the contribution there for the parents about $352. So that's what the parents are paying towards John's education per year. And you can see John's expected to contribute about $176 through summer earnings, money he's going to earn over the summertime, maybe to help support his financial aid award as well. But John's not going to have any savings of his own. But John's also going to contribute another $2,000 or so through a Swarthmore work study job as well. So he'll be working as a part of that to earn that money as part of his financial aid package. The last bar down there is the Swarthmore's need-based grant. So this is based on how much money he needs. So Swarthmore costs about $69,000 a year. You can see that need-based aid grant means that's all money he doesn't have to pay back to us. So again, John's parents make about $37,000 a year. And so this financial aid award reflects what John might get in terms of financial aid from Swarthmore College, and that $67,000 he's receiving in loan-free need-based aid, money he does not have to pay back to the college. Again, this is what makes Swarthmore affordable for lots of low-income students because we're able to meet that 100% need-based aid, and we're admitting students regardless of how much money they have or don't have to pay for a Swarthmore education. The last slide here, I wanted to give folks an opportunity to kind of give some advice, I guess, to folks as they're going into the college search process, and some things to think about and maybe help you out. I mentioned before that that Swarthmore has a fly-in program called Discover Swarthmore. Other colleges around the country have a fly-in program as well. There's a great website called College Greenlight. They have lots of resources for all types of different students looking to begin their search for a college, but they also have this list of different college fly-in programs throughout the country. And again, a lot of these programs where students are getting flown into college and see that college for a couple days. It's a free experience. You're not paying for your plane ticket, or you're not paying for your transportation to the college. This is true for Swarthmore, and it's true for lots of different colleges around the country. And so I encourage folks to go to this website at College Greenlight and see the list of about 72 colleges that have a fly-in program this fall that high school seniors can apply for to get an opportunity to see a college for free. And that's a really special opportunity. If you can't get out to the college you want to see, there's other ways to get to know the college. So I have a couple suggestions for folks. One suggestion is to visit the college's school newspaper. Lots of colleges around the country will have a school newspaper or multiple different school newspapers where students are writing about things going on at their college or university. This is a great way to get insight into a college, getting an understanding of what's going on at that college and what things students are talking about. What are the issues percolating on campus? So if you can't get to your college, you can usually get to the college you want to visit. You can usually find these college newspapers online. Swarthmore has our online newspapers available to anyone. The Phoenix and the Daily Gazette are our two school newspapers. Talk with admissions officers. Sometimes I think students are afraid to ask admissions officers their questions, but we're eager to answer your questions. And so feel free to email or pick up the phone to call your admissions officers at colleges that you're interested in exploring more of, and ask us questions. That's our main job, is answering and talking to prospective students. So be sure to pick up that phone, email us to get your questions answered. Another way to get to know a college is to talk to professors that share your academic interests or the interests you're thinking about going into. So we have all our professors' contact information on our website in our academic section. You can hop on there and email professors in fields you're interested in. You don't have to ask really complicated questions or anything like that. You can just ask them, hey, what's it like to work in that department as a professor? What resources are available for me? What are students doing after Swarthmore, after getting that degree in that particular field, and what can I do with it as a prospective student? So you can ask those questions of professors and get a good sense of how much professors really are invested in their students. Here at Swarthmore, we're a small student body, and so our professors are very much invested in the successes of our students and making sure they have what they need. So getting a quick reply from a professor may be a sign that the professor is invested in that process as well. Talk with current students. This is another really important way to do this. Lots of colleges around the country, again, on their websites are going to have lists of students that you can email and contact. We have an Ask a Swati page on our website. Swatis are Swarthmore students, that what we call ourselves. And so we have a list of students there you can ask and engage with to get your questions answered about student life, about the student experience on our campus, academic experience on the campus. You can ask those questions of our Ask a Swatis. We also have a student blog called Swat Stories. You can search that again as well to find it. It's also on our admissions webpage as well. And that's an ongoing blog of different Swarthmore students talking about their experience on campus, whether it's study abroad, whether it's working, playing on a sports team here on campus, kind of sharing their kind of day-to-day here at Swarthmore as well. I also encourage folks, if a college is coming to your high school, to go to that college visit if you can, to get to know that college admissions officers visiting that school, visiting your school, and ask them questions. You can also go to your guidance counselors. Obviously, sometimes guidance counselors have a lot to do, and so they can't always guarantee they're going to be able to ask a college to come visit. But certainly, if you have a college you're interested in and want to learn more about, and want to make sure a college admissions officer visits you, also talk to your guidance counselor about the opportunity of inviting an admissions officer to your college. You can also, to your high school, you can also, of course, reach out to that admissions officer directly. And lots of admissions officers have their information right on the college website to reach out to them directly. Those are kind of my main advice about how to kind of reach out to a college if you can't visit. But I really encourage folks to go to College Greenlight to see that list of 72 different colleges that are offering fly-in programs. Again, free trips to see colleges all over the country to get a sense of what that is like. And ours is, again, our program is called Discover Swarthmore. So I hope that's been helpful for folks. Get the chance to know Swarthmore a little bit, but also get a chance to learn a little about some tricks for the college search process. My contact information is here. I encourage folks to reach out to me if they have more questions, either email or phone. We want to be admissions officers all over the country. We want to be a support for students who are going through this search process to find a good fit. I obviously advocate for Swarthmore College. That's my job, but I want students to find a good fit no matter where it is, all over the country or maybe all over the world. So I want to support you in that, whether you want to apply to Swarthmore or to another institution around the country. Thank you for listening and taking the time. And please email me or get in contact with me if you have any more questions. And thanks to the Kappa Foundation as well. Thank you guys.
Mr. Jordan, thank you very much. I think this was very informational. I want to just open it up for questions now. If any of our attendees would like to ask any questions, as always, they can put it in the question box. You've given a lot of information about the experience that you could have at Swarthmore. And you guys call yourself Swatties?
Yeah, we
Why
call
is
ourselves
that?
Swatties. Yeah. So I don't know when it happened. Swarthmore was founded way back in 1864, and back then, until recently, you're a Swarthmorean. But at some point, the Swarthmorean got shortened to Swatties. So older alumni will often still call themselves Swarthmoreans, but younger alumni in the last few decades will call themselves Swatties. So I don't know when that switch happened, but that's kind of the story behind that.
Interesting. And you spoke about that program in which a student can come to Swarthmore. Now, is there a criteria that you look at to bring a student on campus
Yeah,
for the fly-in program?
Yeah. So there's a couple different things. So for Discover Swarthmore, there is an application process. We ask students to fill out kind of basic information, but also in academic information as well. So your high school transcript, if you've taken the SAT or the ACT or any subject tests in the SAT, you'll send that information to us. And also there's an essay as well. And so for Discover Swarthmore, we're certainly looking for students that are going to be a good fit for Swarthmore, and that means academically strong, right? That means students are taking challenging courses academically in terms of what's offered at their high school, and they're doing well in those courses, right? But it also means we're writing a really solid essay as well. And so we always tell students, hey, if you're thinking about applying to Discover Swarthmore, take time with that essay, make sure it's got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. But the academic component is important too. We want to make sure the students that we admit to Swarthmore through the Discover Swarthmore program are students we would think would be confident in admitting for a regular decision if they were to apply regular decisions at the college as well. So we get lots of applications for Discover Swarthmore, but we only have room for about 200 students in the program. And so just because a student doesn't get into the Discover Swarthmore program for the fly-in, doesn't mean you're not a good fit for Swarthmore. So like lots of students who we don't have room for in our Discover Swarthmore program, who then apply regular decisions to Swarthmore and are admitted and are matriculated or walk around our campus today, right? So don't let that, any of these programs, any of these fly-in programs around the country, don't let getting denied from them dissuade you from applying to that college, because most of the time space is the reason we can't invite all the students we want to the fly-in program. But students who are doing well academically and are going to write a really, really solid essay for us, those are students who will do well in that process.
Mr. Jordan, I want to thank you for this very informational virtual college tour, giving us the background of Swarthmore, what you do as an admissions counselor, and what students can expect at your liberal arts school. I see that we don't have any other questions at this time. So we're going to get ready to close down. Once again, the Diamonds in the Rough webinars, thank you again for your contribution to our webinar series. We also want to once again thank our sponsors, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation and the Kappa Foundation, for sponsoring these webinars. Our next webinar will be tomorrow, which is about preparing for college. That webinar will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We thank everybody for their time this evening, and we look forward to you joining our next webinar. Thank you.